sex in college?
Yeah.
I typically don't remember it, but it happens.
It is definitely positive. It's like on a linear scale that's like this. It's like amount of alcohol, amount of sex. Like that is exactly what it is.
I don't know if it would be the college environment, but it's just like, you know, the liquid courage.
You get more horny. I mean, your inhibitions are lowered. There's probably a lot of reasons why being drunk makes everything way easier.
The walk of shame is when you drunkenly hook up with a guy, not at your own house, dorm, and then in the morning you have to wake up and make that long trek home in your clothes from last night, you know, sex hair, all that good stuff.
And not having a roommate really does like help that kind of stuff, I guess.
Well, last year, my roommate was less okay with me bringing people back than she let on, so that kind of led to some conflict.
Last year, my roommate and I, didn't get along very well, but one night I came home really drunk with some guy who was really cute and checked her bed, thought that she wasn't there, went along, did my thing. Turns out the next morning that she was there, and she did not enjoy it. Since she was on the top bunk and I was on the bottom, I'm sure that was a little bit freaky. She said she didn't know what to do. She wasn't sure if she should like run out of the room or like just stay there. She didn't have her iPod. She couldn't drown it out. It's kind of unfortunate.
College environment just kind of like encourages the promiscuity, I would say.
As like the atmosphere, the whole college atmosphere, I like it. As like a freshman just coming here, I love the fact that there's so many people around me. I love the fact that like, yeah, I could meet like this awesome dude tomorrow and like, I don't know any, like you don't know him now, but there's potential like something will shift really quickly. And I think college life is much more like sped up than regular.
When I first got here, just the feeling of freedom was just like a little bit overwhelming, and you just sort of want to do everything that you can, you know, because there's no supervision. So I was drinking, well, I would say I was drinking about the same as I did in high school. I drank a lot in high school, but just like having dorm rooms, you know, not being in a house party where everyone's going to find out when you like come down the stairs in the morning or whatever, makes it a lot easier. And there's just like more people, and you go to a party and everyone's trying to like hook up with somebody, so it's just really easy.
Or I wasn't having intercourse in high school, but I am now in college, and so I guess it's, I don't know, I just think that it's more linked to a maturity thing than anything. That I'm more mature now, so I'm doing things that are more mature.
Last year I used to be a player, you know, then decided to settle down, get tied down, you know, start doing my thing in a different way.
I don't party any less hard than I did last year. I just am more responsible about, you know, like, oh, well, like, I don't know who this guy is. Like, I can't just go home with him, you know. Whereas last year I was like, yeah, sure, I'll get in this car with 5 dudes that I've never met before. Why not? You know, sure, let's go have fun.
I read this pamphlet really quickly downstairs on the table in the lobby till it freaked me up too much. And it's like, it said 1 out of 5 people over the age of 12 have like genital herpes but don't know about it. Fuck, there's 4 of us in this room.
Unless you know someone who has an STD or like you personally have one, it's not something that most people think about all the time, which is good and bad because it can put a damper on anything you're doing like sexually. If you ask someone like, so like, have you been tested recently? Like that just, I feel like that almost never happens. And also like when you're drunk, you're, you know, just more agreeable if someone is like, you know, can I just put a condom on like later or never? and you're kind of like, I
think probably a lot of it has to do with being drunk in terms of like not having safe sex when you're drunk, meaning like I can't find a condom, I don't care, like being heated and caught up in the moment and just like completely forgetting about it, but like it's important.
Like, herpes scares the shit out of me more than a lot of things.
And I guess the more that you the more knowledgeable you are about it, the better. So you can, you know, at least have some sort of judgment when you're shit-faced. And
You know, especially when there is this atmosphere of heavy drinking in college, when you're having sex with someone, you're not, the first thing, you know, before you have sex isn't, oh, do you have an STD? It's other things, you know, it's every other thing but that.
You know, I think that is one of the main hazards of drunk sex, the possibility of contracting STDs, because if you know, the lines of communication might not be up. You know, you might trust someone because you're drunk and you aren't necessarily thinking of you know, asking the right questions, or it might not even be the type of person that you know well enough to, you know, make that judgment call. So it's you know, don't be a fool, wrap your tool. That's what I say.
I think it really depends on the unique person. Some people, if one drinks a lot heavier than the other, then it might be bad, and like they might get fed up with it. But if everyone's both kind of like the same level, they're like, all right, let's like have a couple drinks, let's go to like the party, like that kind of stuff. I think it really is just like a bonding thing for most people. But
Okay.
some people, I feel like, really don't feel like it. They feel like it's a stimulant that kind of gets in the way, but I don't think so.
And unfortunately, I think being drunk means that more often when you do have sex, you're with someone that you don't know. And it kind of screws up the whole way that I think people typically think of relationships, because a lot of times in college you have sex with someone before you're in a relationship with them.
I say it moves away from closeness. Like, people tend not to get too emotionally involved a lot of the time. And like, I personally say that that's probably not as good of a thing. But, you know, it's college. It's kind of the time that stuff happens, so.
when it comes to, you know, having relationships in the college environment, I think it's more difficult, I would say, than, you know, the outside world, just because the majority of the people that you meet, you know, when you're in that sexual or intimate type of sense is like when you're drunk and you just hook up, and then, you know, it's like, where does it go from there? It's harder, I'd say, you know, if you meet some guy, like, and you are sober, you know, then, like, it's easier to, like, you know, get drunk that first time and then hook up, and then it's like, where do you go from there, you know?
So I had like 2 years in college, and one of them I was single the whole year, and for most of this year I've been in a relationship, so I have kind of I've been sort of comparing them in my head. I think it's like, I think everyone goes through that phase where they want to experiment, and, well, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people go through a phase where they want to sort of see what it's like to have sex with different people and kind of test, like, who they can have sex with, and it's just like another activity.
I don't want to say like nothing ever happens because of drinking, but there's like the ups and downs, like positive things, kind of like balance out negative things that happen.
I think, yeah, people definitely do hook up faster than they did before, but that might almost, in a lot of ways, might sound bad, that's kind of not a bad thing. In a lot of ways, like, everyone feels better when they're having sex. Everyone feels better when you have someone intimate with you. Like, when there's potential to something, it's just nice to have, like, a person that, yeah, we get along well, we can hook up well, like, everything, like, it's good to feel attached to people. It's good to feel like you're not the only person, you're not, like, alone in, like, your life.
But I mean, not everyone wants a relationship right now, you know? It's college. We got time. And I guess, you know, people like to have sex, so.
Definitely helps. Makes everything way easier. I mean, when I go home, like, to be honest, it's harder to get laid because there's not so many kids all around in the same place being all drunk.